Saul, impressed by David's courage and faith, relented. "Saul, go, and the Lord be with you." Saul tried to outfit David with his own armor, a heavy bronze helmet and breastplate. But David, unaccustomed to such cumbersome gear, found it too awkward. He removed the armor and instead took his shepherd's staff, his sling, and selected 5 smooth stones from a nearby stream. David walked confidently towards Goliath, who roared with laughter at the sight of the young boy. "Goliath, am I a dog, that you come at me with sticks? Come here, and I'll give your flesh to the birds of the air and the wild animals." David, undeterred, replied, "David, you come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will hand you over to me, and I'll strike you down and cut off your head. Today I will give the carcasses of the Philistine army to the birds of the air and the wild animals, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. All those gathered here will know that it is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into our hands." Goliath charged towards David, but the young shepherd stood his ground. David reached into his bag, took out a stone, and slung it with all his might. The stone flew through the air and struck Goliath squarely on the forehead. The giant staggered, and with a deafening crash, fell face down on the ground. David ran towards Goliath, stood over him, took Goliath's own sword, drew it from its sheath, and cut off his head. The Philistine army, seeing their champion fallen, turned and fled in terror. The Israelites, emboldened by David's victory, pursued them, inflicting a heavy defeat. David returned to the Israelite camp, carrying Goliath's head as a trophy. He was hailed as a hero, a champion of Israel. Saul took him into his service, and David's fame spread throughout the land. The women sang, "Women, Saul has slain his thousands, and David his tens of thousands." David's courage and faith had saved Israel from the Philistines, and his name would be remembered for generations to come. Moral lesson: the story of David and Goliath teaches several important lessons. Firstly, it demonstrates that courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. David was afraid, but he acted despite his fear because of his faith in God. Secondly, the story highlights the importance of faith. David believed that God would help him, and this belief gave him the strength to face Goliath. Thirdly, the story shows that appearances can be deceiving. Goliath was a giant, but he was defeated by a young shepherd boy with a sling. Finally, the story underscores the idea that God often uses the weak to shame the strong.